So here we're at an interesting point, SPQR. We're playing the Battle of Tunis. This is not the whole Battle of Tunis, if there is such. What this is a little segment. The rebel army is besieging Tunis. This is not it. And Hamilcar, Hannibal is one of his subordinates who happens to be in command here, has just destroyed Spendius's army, caught it in a canyon and massacred it. And Spendius's body is here in this blood-stained spot in Hannibal's camp. This is not the Hannibal, this is just a Hannibal. There are lots of Hannibals, Hamilcars, and the like. This is much earlier than that period. So the rebels he was nailed up, crucified in front of the rebels, and they were incensed by this and launched this attack. Now it turns out, and this is the rebel lines here, while the Carthaginians are in the fortifications. Turns out they just cut Spendius down and put Hannibal in his place up on the cross. So this little scenario should be a victory for, historically it was a victory for the rebels. The actual scenario instructions don't give a lot about the camp. They give a special rule for the crucifixion. If he gets cut down, it removes one hit from every unit on the rebel side. Okay, that's kind of neat, but whatever. For the defensive benefits, I guess I'm just going to use the normal Roman camp terrain effects here. That should actually be pretty potent to help defend. In addition, the Carthaginians have 4 scorpions set up here, 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 and here. They have some control over where they wanted to put them, but I figured face the actual forces, make them shift if they want to. As to the forces, the rebels' main line here, a mixture of heavy, medium, and light infantry actually. A couple Numidian cav on the side. The other line here is, again, infantry, no cav there. For the Carthaginians, they have their elephants over here. They have a couple sacred band cav over here. I'm tempted to say I don't see this as too likely a victory for the rebels. The route points for both sides are 45. The rebels have a much larger army, there's no question there. But they're still facing things like elephants that can be a hell of a pain. Of course, they don't have open flanks, and over here at least, and there's the difficulty of getting out the gate if you want to use the elephants properly. So maybe being in a fort isn't such a good idea here. It would perhaps be better to have, your battle set up completely and face them with the maneuverability that the Carthaginians like. However, there are pretty serious advantages on the camp. You're facing the walls, which I'll give the ditch berm, I guess, too. And the advantages on the gates. Oh, I bet you this is what a wall does, maybe. I don't remember. But I'll figure out how to use that. Anyway, you'd think that the defensive advantage would be sufficient. However, the Carthaginian force without those elephants is much, much smaller. So, we'll see. So here at the storming of the fort, right after the first turn, the rebels moved their heavy Libyan infantry forward. They didn't get a continuation, so all this was left behind. They tried to move Tychius, I don't know who he really is, to the side. I don't think he's anyone named particularly, with hopes of moving some more of those infantry forward. That's leaving the Numidian cav behind, but I didn't feel like that was all that important. Meanwhile, the main line moved forward with a line command. Again, these rebel games, for whatever reason, the commander is the only person who can give line orders in the game. I cheated, I think, in the first one, maybe the second one, I'm not sure, but it didn't help before. And what we're seeing with the Carthaginians is they've thrown their elephant corps out, and in fact their cav as well. They got lucky enough to be able to move them to where they can use their maneuverability, and the elephants are threatening that Libyan heavy infantry. If they get the jump on the heavies, then they can probably smack them up pretty hard before without much answer coming from these mediums down here in lights. The cav, on the other hand, is facing the Numidian cav. If I pull the leader over, it's hard to tell which one's better. This is Sacred Band, so it's pretty potent, 7 quality. However, the Numidians are at that big 8 quality with the javelins. So, you know, heavies versus lights, hard to tell. The lights have the one advantage: they can always retreat. So, of course, that could expose the flank that they're trying to defend. But either way, they're going to need their leader back if they're going to conduct operations at all effectively. The Carthaginian infantry has moved up along the line of the wall as best they can, and because of the rough terrain, the rebels have been unable to really advance as far as you'd expect them to. They took some fire, however, and at least one unit got damaged from the Scorpions. We're here near the end of the second turn. The elephants managed to launch an attack against the flank, not right on the heavies, on a medium that got brought up. Kind of crappy leader, can't do a lot, and he didn't get a continuation. But now we're seeing, it's not Spendius, he's over here on the cross. Mathis. We're seeing Mathis having gotten 2 continuations, and actually no, yeah, he's gotten full momentum already. He's done, and he's managed to engage with that line into the rear of the elephants. And the red markers on them, they're depleted markers, but I'm using them to indicate that that elephant's rampaging. So I'm going to take care of that real quick. I don't think I need to show you that. Well, it's no big shock that having rampaging elephants behind your line isn't a good thing. And one of them smacked the unit, got it to rout, smacked it again, and killed it. And another unit routed off the map. Some other damage was done to the rebel lines. So, point-wise, we got 4 points on the Carthaginians and 10 points on the rebels. And I'll mark that down as usual, but you don't need to see me write. So Mago got initiative and smacked some Roman unit. I don't remember what happened precisely. This isn't what happened. Well, no, actually he didn't get his attack in yet. I tried to trump him with our rebel leader, and I think this was on a momentum. I think Mago was moving 1 unit and then got his momentum and then moved 2 in, got the attack in. And, oh yeah, he healed the unit, that's why. And whatever his name is, he's not really here, Mathis, failed on his trump roll, so he was finished. And then Mago got through and smacked him up a little bit. didn't get another continuation. But then the movement went over here to Bostar, who used the cav, the sacred band cav, to smack into a couple of those lights and actually destroyed both of them. One in pursuit, sort of, kind of. Definitely in pursuit. And the other one due to overlapping zones of control. So now the Numenideans are available and could come up and engage, but we'll see how that works out. Looks like most of the Carthaginian leaders have gone, only their leader hasn't. And on the rebel side, only the cav leader hasn't. And here at the end of a third turn, what have we seen? Well, we saw the heavies already hit. The Numenideans came in and did a bit of damage there. Ooh, I haven't. He's going to get to recover some of that damage, actually. Okay, so he's going to be doing a recovery action for some of his stuff and maybe one more thing. But we also saw the infantry line charge up and hit the wall. And largely the effect was not too surprising. Some infantry were flung back. Here, I believe. I don't know. Yeah. But they did actually make a breach over here and sent one of the medium units routing. And maybe they'll be able to take advantage of that. It's real tough fighting in the walls because, at least if this is the correct, using the Roman camp here, you got at least a couple column shifts against you no matter what you hit, and if you're hitting a gate, it's perhaps worse. Now the attacker isn't much better off. They don't want to come trying to leap over the wall at you, right? But yeah, or the defender isn't much better off if he attacks. But there's no reason to that, right? He's holding his defensive terrain as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I've got a little bit of recovery to do, but otherwise this this situation does not look very hopeful for the rebels right now. Point wise, we're seeing another 11 points lost by the rebels, which puts them up to 21, and the total is something like 45. So they're halfway there, whereas the Carthaginian defenders are hardly affected at all. And in fact, I may have forgotten to recover one of their units that I should have as well. Anyway, this has gone long enough that I can load it up, and I'll come back with another video.